This is another episode of your program, Security Watch Africa, only on this channel, the Africa Independent Television. On this program, we'll give you information you need to keep your life safe and secured. My name still remains Patrick Abambo. Wherever the news is, security news is, we'll bring it to you. Today, we'll be bringing you a collection of reports and instant or live reports from what is happening in Kaduna right now at the Nigeria Defense Academy auditorium, where the lecture, the NASEL, the Nigerian Media Celebration lecture, is taking place. Security Watch Africa, Elizabeth Tanko is right there and will show us excerpts of what is happening right there as we speak. But now let us go to the introduction really of what the Nigerian Army Day celebration is all about. During the week, the chairman, of course, of the organizing committee, who also is the chief of Civil Military Affairs Army, Major General Go Chibisi, addressed the media on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff. Sit back as Elizabeth Tanko brings us the report.
The Nigerian Army has lined up activities for the commemoration of 162 years anniversary of its establishment. July 6th of every year has been set aside as the Nigerian Army Day celebration, NATSEL. NATSEL is usually packed with activities impacting on people, discussions on the Nigerian Army's journey, and showcasing of its might, all geared towards national unity, development, and military advancements. The 2025 edition with the theme Developing the Soldier's First Concept, Imperative for Nigerian Army's Transformation Drive. According to the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, who was represented by the Chief of Civil Military Affairs Army, Major General Go Chubisi, will be hosted in Kaduna State. He disclosed this while addressing the media at the headquarters Nigerian Army.
The Nigerian Army Day celebration provides an opportunity to showcase our achievements thus far and deepen collaboration with federal stakeholders towards enhancing peace, security, and the defense of our national values. The theme of the Nigerian Army Celebration 2025 is Developing the Soldier First Concept, Imperative for Nigerian Army's Transformation Drive, was carefully selected as it espouses our renewed drive to transform the Army by placing our soldiers first. The Nigerian Army, as an instrument of national unity, integration and development, has made significant strides in innovation, research and development, civil-military relations, and technological advancements to better equip the soldier to carry out his constitutional responsibilities. A number of activities have been lined up for this year's celebration, and we have since commenced with the traditional Jumat prayers and interdenominational church services, which symbolizes our humble acknowledgement of the Nigerian Army motto, "Victory is from God alone." On Saturday, the 5th of July, there will be a lecture at the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, to deliberate on topical issues, and thereafter, we will have the award ceremony for the second Chief of Army Staff annual literary competition. In the evening on the same day, there will be a gala night with officers and soldiers at the Umaru Musa Yar'Adua Conference Center, Murtala Mohammed Square, Kaduna. The event will be rounded up with the Nigerian Army Day Celebration 2025 Grand Finale on Sunday, the 6th of July, 2025, where we witness a military parade, equipment display, as well as the presentation of the Chief of Army Staff Commendation Award to deserving personnel.
Major General Chubisi gave details of the establishment of Nigerian Army and history of NATSEL.
The Nigerian Army Day celebration, which was first held in 1978, is observed annually to commemorate the establishment of the Nigerian Army. It also marks the day the first shot was fired at Garkem Town in the present-day Cross River State signify the commencement of the Civil War. The celebration also affords us the opportunity to recognize and honor the heroic contributions of our officers and soldiers, past and present. This year, the Nigerian Army is celebrating 162 years of service to our great nation. That is over a century and a half of selfless dedication to duty, patriotism, loyalty, and commitment to protecting our families, friends, compatriots, and above all, safeguarding the sovereignty and integrity of our beloved country. The history dates back to 1863, when Lieutenant Glover of the Royal Navy organized 18 indigenes of northern Nigeria into a force known as the Glover Hausas. The Nigerian Army has since grown exponentially, surmounting all challenges that every generation of our forebears have had to contend with.
The significance of NATSEL in the history of the Nigerian Army cannot be overemphasized, as it offers opportunity for stock-taking, appraisal, and projection for improved performance in the discharge of its constitutional roles. Elizabeth Thanko, reporting for Security Watch Africa.
Yeah, welcome back. Like I said earlier, Elizabeth Thanko and others are right there in the Nigerian Defense Academy, where the NASEL lecture is taking place. We have some highlights of activities that is taking place, and the excerpt from the wonderful and incisive lecture delivered by the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, who delivered a very incisive lecture. Sit back as we bring you these highlights.
Keep coming that time. Those died in Guard Brigade in 2006. Romosele. Talk about competition. I know at that time we were being honored as Commander Guard Brigade Garrison. One as single member in 7 battalion of the Torbenos. Anytime that competition carry all the trophies, it become like anyhow. General Nevita, very good officer, who follow on top of the job. I can't see only 6 months there, but now it become that anytime that competition now will just be oh boy, with Philip and I think Hero.
And that was the former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, talking to serving officers and soldiers, and both retired also, because some former Chief of Army Staff also there, including Lieutenant General T.Y. Buratai, that is Tukuyusu Buratai also there, and so many, Brigadier General Sani Kukashika Usman, so many. Indeed, it's a collection of who is who in the Nigerian Army and generally the Nigerian military, because there were representatives from other service chiefs who are there to lend support to their sister service, the Nigerian Army. Indeed, it's a period of reflecting on the formation and what the Nigerian Army has been able to do since 162 years when it was formed. Yes, I think that will take us to the brief interview where the team also had with Mr. Chidi Omeje, who is a publisher of Security Digest. He spoke to us on essence of NASEL. Let's bring you the interview.
Of course, we are here for the NATSEL conference. Part of the programs lined up for this year's Nigerian Army Day celebration here in NDA Auditorium, Kaduna. Well, of course, NATSEL is all about, in fact, it's an annual event the Nigerian Army have, set out for itself, as a day that, they set out to take stock, not just taking stock, but to celebrate the the men and women who have put their life, who are in this noble profession of defending our country from, external aggression and internal insurrection. So, it's a day they really set aside to celebrate the troops, celebrate the officers, even those who are long gone, because, like you all know, Nigerian Army is one indispensable institution that, ought to be celebrated. But then they took it upon themselves to say, look, if we don't beat our chest, who will do that? So it's just an annual thing. Every July 6th is a day for the Nigerian Army. Activities of this year NACL started. We've been here for a couple of days. We've seen a number of things, a number of programs lined up for the day. And today being Saturday, doing a day to July 6th. There are a number of things they're doing. A lot of projects being commissioned, a lot of outreaches, a lot of things that have to do with the people. So as far as I'm concerned, the Nigerian Army has had a very robust civil-military relations, and they've been able to, expand the frontiers of their activities to include that of the civilians around them. Because of course, you know that they function better when they operate in an atmosphere of cooperation, even within the civilian population. So that's what I was. So I think that generally, NACL is a special event, and Nigerians ought to key into that event to celebrate their own army. It evolves every day. I mean, Nigerian army cannot be Nigerian army if it does not go along with the citizens. The Nigerian citizens have a role. There has to be unconditional support for the military, and the military also must understand that they can't do it without that support of the military, so of the civilians. So there's always need for a robust civil military cooperation, so that wherever they are deployed, there will be that community relations, that civil military relations, and then things get better. Because if you don't have such robust relationship, they will not get optimal results, and of course the people will not get the result they expect from the army. So there's always a need for civil military relations, and I am happy that the current leadership of the army, you have do not play with that particular, but make sure that it evolves every now and then. Nigerian army, apart from that, the constitutional rule to defend the country from external aggression, they also have that. There's also a constitutional mandate to assist the civil authority to maintain internal security, especially when the security challenge is beyond the capacity of the civil police. So the army, of course, the military are called in. So of course they have a role to play. I mean, if they can stabilize the internal security, then of course nothing is happening. So and they are doing it. They are actually performing a role effectively well. They are performing the role effectively because of course that as we speak today, the Nigerian army is deployed to 36 out of 36 states of the federation, meaning that they are everywhere deployed to assist the police, to assist the political authority to make sure that internal security is optimal.
Welcome back. You can trust Security Watch Africa to bring you that news, that information wherever it is happening. Yes, already we have via Zoom Chimezie Anyadike, who will be speaking on the same issue. What really is the Nigerian Army celebrating? Because some people would say that in midst of insecurity in the country, people are still being kidnapped, bandits are still operating. Why the Nigerian Army Day celebration? Why are they still celebrating? Let's hear from Chimezie Anyadike. Speak to us. Yeah, hello.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Patrick.
Yes.
The pleasure is always mine to air my contributions on security. I want to let Nigerians know and understand that the purpose of the Nigerian Army, as already stated by the previous interviewee, is to ensure the internal and the internal security of the Federation, as well as ensuring the territorial integrity of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And celebrating the NACL 2025 is also part and parcel of their responsibility. If no such event, if no such series of activities happen, I don't think that Nigerians would have the confidence in the fact that we have an armed forces that is equal to the task of ensuring security of lives and properties in the republic. So I think in the face of the occasions of internal insecurity issues with banditry, with the activities of insurgents in the northeast, banditry in the northwest, and then kidnapping and all sorts. Yes, I can agree with the fact that these are insecurity issues that should not be part and parcel of the fabric of society. But unfortunately, it is what it is. And but I can let Nigerians know that the armed forces are not sitting on their oars. We have various verifiable and confirmed reports of the activities of the Nigerian army in several theaters of conflict, in several theaters of engagement in the Northeast as well as the Northwest, where they have neutralized scores of bandits, scores of insurgents, where they've been able to terminate, bring to an end the activities of these non-state actors. Of course, progress is usually incremental. Success is always incremental. You can only say you have succeeded by the level of progress, by the level of improvement that has been recorded. And I can say that with all the reports that we have been faced with, we have been engaging with over the past few years, we can say that there has been very serious and measurable success in the efforts of the armed forces. And I think that they ought also to let the citizens know, not just in engagement with the non-state actors, but in some of their civil military activities that they've been engaging in improving the lives, especially in rural areas, in improving the lives and security of the indigenes of some of these rural areas, like the building of a school in Tudumbiri, the building of a mosque, also the carrying out of medical outreaches in several parts of the Federation. I think these are laudable initiatives that should be celebrated, and which I think that every Nigerian should be aware of the points, of the reasons for the Nigerian Army Day celebration 2025. So I think their efforts so far remains commendable and should be commended.
Yeah, when we reflect back to the Nigerian army that we used to know or we used to hear of, for some who may not have lived that long, or just even before the Civil War, Nigerian army participating in all the different world wars, First World War, Second World War, the Nigerian Civil War, and of course their incursion into politics, then coming down now to the current where they were able to stabilize issues in Liberia and in Sierra Leone, Angola, in different other places. Yet now currently we are seeing them in our internal security operations. Would you say there have been improvement in what you can say of the Nigerian army?
Yes, I will say that. Because, like you mentioned, in time past, I'm a millennial. I remember in the late 80s, early 90s, and then late 90s, when you would not dare engage with any member of the armed forces because of the level of belligerence and aggression they were known with then. Uh, they were usually associated with. But right now, there's been so much improvement with regards to their interpersonal, relationships with the Nigerian society. Then, with their efforts as well in ECOMOG, their efforts as well in the maintenance of international peacekeeping initiatives, and maybe in the West African sub-region, in the general African continent, as well as also in the efforts of global peacekeeping initiatives. I think that we cannot deny the fact that the Nigerian army, Nigeria as a whole, has always been a big brother, has always remained a big brother to the rest of the West African sub-region and even Africa as a whole, because there is no peacekeeping initiative on the continent that you wouldn't find the Nigerian members of the Nigerian Armed Forces playing very active leadership roles in. So I would want to say that Nigerians should beat their hands on their chest that our armed forces are one of the most recognizable armed forces in the continent and also in the world. And as well for their participation in the maintenance of internal security, I think that it is also part and parcel of their prerogative, of their responsibility to provide assistance to law enforcement where it seems or where it appears that insecurity would have sort of attempted to overwhelm the law enforcement internal security structure. I think it is part and parcel of their mandate to ensure the sustenance of peace and maintenance of security within the Federal Republic of Nigeria, but working maybe in joint operations and initiatives with law enforcement and our internal security framework. So I would say that there's been, back in the days, it wasn't something enjoyable running into a soldier or a member of the armed forces. But these days, Nigerians actually look up to them. If you don't see them in any situation of insecurity, Nigerians really don't feel very, very, how do I put it, confident in the resolution of the insecurity matter. But whenever you see the army, whenever the army appears or the armed forces appear, there is that restoration of hope. There is that confidence that, yes, this problem is going to be solved quickly and very, very rapidly. So in as much as they are not tasked with law enforcement or any form of law enforcement security structure, but they are also tasked with providing assistance and support wherever they are called upon to do so. So I think that so far so good. They've been very, very phenomenal. Of course, there's a lot of room for improvement, but I believe that they ought to be commended for all their efforts and activities.
All right. Thank you so much. We'll leave it at that. We'll continue in subsequent edition of the program. Thank you so much, Mr. Chimezi Anyadike, for always being available to lend your view on issues of security. It's our pleasure having you once again.
Same here, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah, viewers, we are driving home. Quickly, we'll take a report from the Nigeria Police FCT Command, where some criminal suspects have been arrested, and some of their recoveries made by the police, led by CP Ajao Adewale. Sit back as Lucy Tawo brings us a report.
The FCT Police Command on Friday showcased their achievements in the last 2 months in Abuja. The Commissioner of Police, CP Ajao Saka Adewale, outlined the achievements of his command at a press briefing at the command headquarters.
One of the successes recorded was the arrest of a syndicate that specializes in child trafficking. During the period under review, the command successfully foiled 5 separate armed robbery attempts. This operation took place across key areas, 1 in Apple, 1 in Durumi, 4 in Kubwa area. The coordinated effort led to the arrest of 6 suspects and recovery of 4 vehicles, jackknife, and assaulted child. Within the period under review, the command foiled 5 attempted kidnapping incidents across various communities, including Akuwaru, Biasi, Karshi, Kalduwari, Gidandoko Forest, and Dadaji.
CP Adewale applauded other sister security agencies for their cooperation and synergy to making FCT safer.
It is equally important we appreciate the collaboration we have been receiving from other sister agencies. The Nigerian Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Civil Defense, SSS, including NDIA, as well as our civilian joint task force, the vigilante, and the hunter. As of yesterday, the command in collaboration with all these agencies, was able to bring down the drug market that is gradually growing behind Agora Hotel in the UTC market area. That those shanties there that has become drug ready has been brought down.
The FCT Commissioner of Police appealed to ladies to be mindful of those they relate with, stating that if there must be an outing, it should be in a public space.
We want to advise members of the public, we should be security conscious in anything we do, at any point, wherever we have. We need, female, go into relationship, should do so with their eyes open. Era of blind trust has gone. Choose public venue for meetings. And let people who should know, who need to know where you are going to. You never know what can happen.
The CP acknowledged the efforts of Nigerians who help with credible information and asked for more collaboration. CP Ajao Adewale showed some recoveries from suspects. Lucy Tawo reporting for Security Watch Africa.
Yeah, thanks for staying tuned. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of today's edition of the program. If you have enjoyed watching us, join us again next week when we'll bring you another exciting edition. But before then, follow us on all our social media platforms, X, former Twitter, is at Security Watch 97. We will send us your views and your comments, or watch this edition or previous edition on YouTube or Facebook. Stream live on Facebook. Until next week when we'll come your way again, I say thanks for staying tuned and bye for now.